Hello, I'm Alexandra Sleator, Career Accelerator. And that means that working together, you can achieve your career aspiration faster than you would on your own. Together, we can work on a range of career challenges. First of all, of course, we can help you progress your career. In particular, we can help you devise a strategy that will ensure that you get that promotion you so clearly deserve. We can also help you repackage your skills so that you can make a bid for a new role, do something more different that opens up the range of the possible. But we can also help you with your career right here, right now, and help you refine such fundamental skills in the office like communication, and in particular the capacity to influence, and persuade others. But also, when the going gets tough, the ability to manage conflict proactively. We can also help you manage change, help you motivate your team members. We can help you present with more confidence, and we can help you grow your leadership presence if that's of interest, among a range of issues that you can work on so that you position yourself well for future advancement and also for being recognized in this year. Last but by no means least, we can work on a career transition, and that can mean both returning to the workforce after a break, women returners for example, but not just. Clearly some of us who have experienced redundancy need to see what it means for them to rejoin the workforce. And it can also mean, of course, redefining success, deciding to do something that will take you not just to a new job, but possibly to a new industry. So this is just a flavor of all the things that we can potentially work on. The point is that working together, we will achieve your ambitions in a cost and time efficient way. So welcome to the first edition of Career Tips for the summer of 2014. And indeed, the last 6 months have seen us focusing predominantly on getting things done. There was a series of 5 videos and tutorials around objective setting, playing to your strengths, identifying blind spots, and the last one on motivation. If you missed any of those, the URL is appearing where all these articles and videos are available in order to get things done. There was also a webinar on career transitions, how to manage your career and those important transitions so that you build up the career that you want to have. So the URL for that is also appearing. So those are all the activities that kept us busy in the first 6 months of 2014. But today let's look at things very differently. Let's remember that actually during the next few weeks and months, I hope many of you will have the chance to take a breather, to take a pause, to go on holiday. And that's a good occasion to maybe a little bit reflect. And the question I suggest you reflect on is, are you happy at work? So this tutorial is about the quality of your life at work. And indeed, it is quite fundamental that we feel somewhat reasonably happy at work, because after all, we spend so much time there. And so it is not good if the only source of happiness is our life outside of work. It is better when we get some satisfaction from work. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to review with you a series of themes that can help you take stock of that life at work. And not just the job, but the life you lead. And of course, the life you lead has to do with your job, but we're looking at things a bit differently and asking ourselves different questions. So here is the first range of questions, and it really has to do with your workload. The first element around your workload is whether you even know what you have to do. Confusion around one's objectives can be extremely frustrating and get us really on the wrong foot. So the first element is to think about whether you know what your objectives are and you're comfortable with the nature and the calibration of your workload. That it does play to your skill set, that you are able to deliver against that workload, because you have the abilities but also the time, of course, in which to do it. It may be precious little time, but it must be enough time that you feel you have at least a chance to get things done. The other element around your workload is being recognized for it. clearly working and not being properly recognized for all our efforts and all the results that we deliver is again clearly going to be a source of unhappiness. So with respect to your workload, do you even know what it is? Is it calibrated properly to suit your abilities? Do you have the time that you need to get it done in a reasonable way, to a good level of quality, rather than having so much to do that everything is botched? And last but not least, do you get recognition appropriately for the contribution you make? That's the questions about your workload. Now, second theme is around mastering your job. Now, we all need the right level of stretch, and indeed, going back a little bit to a theme I just touched on, are you able in your job to really play to your strengths and all your abilities? Are you using enough of what you've learned at school? Maybe not, but at least at university, those competencies that you have been honing both academically but of course in prior roles, are you able to use those? But by the same token, are you learning something? Are you encouraged to develop new skills, to deepen your expertise, or to broaden your capabilities, right? That is usually where the stretch comes in. When we are really in our comfort zone and it's very routine, we're liable to get bored. And boredom and happiness are two very different things indeed. So we don't want to be bored at the office, but we want the right level of stretch, not too much, or we're overwhelmed and then we're stressed. But boredom can also lead to another kind of stress. So we want to have the right element of tension around that mastery of our job and the learning that we can have about it. And because learning new things sometimes means training, then another question for you to consider as you evaluate your happiness at work is, are you satisfied with the training opportunities that you have in the office? A lot of companies have a huge training catalog and you can apply. Are you happy with the quality of the training? Are you happy with the process that you have to go through in order to access some of these training courses? So this is the part about mastering your job. The third element around happiness is the fact of having a say. As human beings, we like to have a say in our life, and that includes, of course, our life at work. So the question here, at least one of them, is, are you being consulted about matters that affect you directly when it comes to your life in the office? You know, for example, are you being consulted about where you sit, or do you have the freedom to bring into the office photographs of families, friends, pets, to personalize a little bit your workspace? We talked a little bit before about that right level of stretch, and indeed here again the theme of being pressured. Are you under undue pressure to get things done, which would mean that your workload would be probably too high, that's the first point, and that you wouldn't be able to really master your role and deliver against your capabilities. So here the issue of pressure, which pops up in having a say, the fact that you are not being consulted about how you want to work, and that time is always too scarce, also pops up again. So you see across the categories here a number of themes that get repeated and come back in a bit of a different way. So that's the third question around having a say. And the third one, which really encompasses the other two, is, are you encouraged to voice your opinion about issues that affect you, of course, directly, but how about issues that affect your team, the business unit that you're part of, that more collective consultation process, for example, being consulted around maybe rolling out a new system or a new process, a new way of doing things that's not just about you, but could affect other colleagues of yours, but clearly you're part of it. And are you being consulted? Do you have the chance to express your views, to make suggestions, so that whatever process of change is involved can be done in a way that you can contribute to? So that was the third section on having a say in the office. And now we go to a little bit different type of considerations. The first one is working in comfort and safety, and this is about your workplace environment. And indeed, the first element there is that your workplace must at least be safe, so that you don't hurt yourself. And what I mean here is consider how you sit in your chair at work. I mean, after all, you spend hours on end in that chair. Is that chair enabling you to have the kind of posture that is ensures that you will not have emerging back problems and be crippled in old age? So how we sit in the office, the amount of time that we stare at the screen, the way that we position our hands and arms on the keyboard, all of those, if we do them for many times, and we do them in fact for years on, and the posture is poor, will give us back problems, arthritis in our hands, and all sorts of other bones and muscle joints aches that could result in important medical bills. So look after your health at work, and this is an obligation of your employee to ensure that you get an assessment of how you are at your desk, and you can ask for that assessment, and the employer has to make the right kinds of adjustment to ensure that your health is preserved. Now, a broader point around working in comfort is, does your employer provide you with what you need in order to work effectively? I mean, it may sound very silly, but do you have access to the right kind of programs, for example, the kind of applications that you need in order to do your work? In some very bureaucratic, confusing institutions that I know of, people struggle to have access to the right kind of tools, typically technology based, that would help them get things done, and they have to do workarounds, and all of that is very inefficient and is not a proper way to do things. So this is around the theme of working in safety and comfort. And very much linked to that theme, of course, is the one around, are you able to operate flexibly around your work and the rest of your life? And this is clearly the theme of working flexibly. As many of you will know, I'm recording this in the UK, and the UK has only just recently enshrined in law the right of employees to ask their firms for flexible hours, which means that, of course, always in a reasonable fashion, it is now a right to work flexibly. Before, it was clearly recommended, but now it's a little bit of a stronger encouragement, and that's to be welcome. Clearly, this is not a license to take advantage, but we all lead complex lives. We have dependents, whether they are kids or older parents. And in that sense, we need for our work life to be able to dovetail reasonably with our personal commitments. And this is fighting that trend that was maybe in the prior decade around, the cult of workaholism, where the more hours you work, the better you look. It is important that we keep a good balance between our office life and our personal life. Also because we are now going to work longer. After all, retirement age has been pushed out in many countries. So that theme of the work-life balance and of the working flexibly, and what does that mean? The ability to work from home, which of course means that the employer has to give you the technology so that you can work from home. And that technology is costly, and not all employers will want to do that. And that's restricting the capacity of people to work from home, which again, at least in the UK, is now going to be no longer acceptable. So now that we've talked about all these themes around the calibration of your workload, the fact that you are able to use your competency and learn on the job, the fact that you have a say in the office about matters that concern you, the fact that you can work in comfort, safely, and flexibly. Having done that inventory, that piece of reflection around your life in the office, then you can finally, I hope, answer that question: of are you happy with your life in the office? And put another way is, does your work life provide you with some measure of quality and fulfillment rather than boredom and frustration? If your personal life was boring and frustrating, you would do something about it, right? So in the office, if indeed boredom, frustration, negative words are what this assessment is leading you to, hopefully now you have some food for thought about the areas of your work life that are, dissonant. Is it the fact that you realize you've been sitting on this uncomfortable chair and you need to call occupational health and get that sorted? Is it something else? Now, clearly, we have to be reasonable. Life at work can be complex, and dealing with issues there, resolving them, increasing that satisfaction is not a walk in the park. But at least, if you have, again, through this self-assessment, established that the quality of your life at work could be improved, I hope you have some elements that you can go and engage, your line manager, your HR support, the right people in the office to move things a little bit forward and get some of that frustration or boredom or whatever form of unhappiness a little bit sorted out. Yeah. So take responsibility, have the courage to speak up appropriately about any issues that are causing you to be dissatisfied in the office, so that you can gradually have a sense of a little bit more fulfillment at work. Again, as I said at the beginning of this chat, we spend so much time there. It would be terrible to just experience that part of your life as this big blob of unhappiness. So I hope this was useful, good food for thought, hopefully. Any other themes that come to mind when it comes to the quality of life at work? Any ideas you want to share? Please, as usual, feel free to comment in the box below this video, or of course pen me an email. My email address is appearing now. So I wish you all a very lovely summer. I'll be talking to you next month, of course, and best wishes on your self-assessment of the quality of your life at work. And I trust that many of you will come out with the assessment that you're actually quite happy. Take good care, thanks for watching, and speak soon. Bye-bye.